Whether you're chillaxing in your rig or falling asleep at your desk at your 9 to 5, at some point you might want to leave the country. Turns out the world's a pretty big place and might be worth spending some time to see it. Until last year, I hadn't seen much of the world at all. When I was 19, I went on a mission to Chile, spent over a year there. And last year we started traveling. We went to Ireland, then we went across the whole country in an RV. But really, I haven't been out of the country much at all. But in a week and a half, I'm going to Peru. So I've had to do a little bit of research to figure out how to travel during a pandemic. I'm going to give you some tips on things you need to do if you want to travel internationally right now. It's more complicated than it used to be. Stop what you're doing right now and just answer this one single question. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now for 1 month, where would you go? Post it in the comments below. Where would you go if you could just teleport yourself anywhere in the world? Post that in the comments below. Where would I go besides Peru? Probably Italy. My first tip is to plan in advance, months in advance. Everything you need to travel internationally takes time. It doesn't happen instantly. If you need a passport, a vaccine or something, it's gonna take weeks or months, so start early. The requirements for traveling to and from any country are all gonna be different, so you need to do your research, your homework. The example I'm giving you today is how to get to Peru from the United States and back. It may be similar for you, might be a little bit different, but it's gonna be pretty instructive no matter where you live and where you're going. No matter where you're headed, you're going to need a passport. That can take some time to get, so get on that one right away. Your passport lasts for 10 years, so get it done so you're ready to rock for the next 10 years. You may or may not need a visa. In my case, going to Peru, because I will not be there for more than 183 days, I do not need a visa, so that's kind of nice. If you plan on staying somewhere longer than 6 months, you're probably gonna need a visa no matter where you go. At the moment, we happen to be in the middle of a global pandemic, which creates new challenges that weren't here a few years ago. And so for some people, it may not be the best time in the world to travel internationally. We booked this thing a couple months ago when it looked like things were starting to chill, and I think we're still okay to go, but there are some things you need to know. A question a lot of people have is, do you need to be vaccinated to travel internationally? And if you go on the CDC's website, they tell you specifically, do not travel internationally until you are fully vaccinated. If you are not fully vaccinated and must travel, follow the CDC's international travel recommendations for unvaccinated people. And if you scroll down here, you can see what the recommendations are for unvaccinated people. The big one is that when you get back to the United States, you need to self-quarantine for a full 7 days after travel, right here. If you are planning on traveling internationally, whether or not you are vaccinated, you should go to the CDC website and read the requirements so you make sure you do all the right things. In fact, here's kind of the summary of things that you need to do, whether or not you're vaccinated. And note that you do need to wear a mask when you're traveling. If you're on a plane, in the airport, indoors, you're gonna be wearing a mask. Everybody's got lots of opinions about masks and vaccinations, and this video is not about that. I'm just sharing with you what you need to do if you want to jump on a plane and end up in another country. There are several things you want to check online at least a month or two before you plan on heading out. Number one, you want to go to the website for your airline, and it's going to have a link to take you to the requirements for entering the country you're traveling to. I am traveling on Delta to Peru, so I go to Delta's website, look at travel outside of the US. The other thing you want to click on here is destination entry requirements. You click on that and it takes you to this page. So you just punch in your itinerary here, your date of birth, your passport expiration date, and then hit enter, and it takes you to this page, and it shows you what the restrictions are. And so for Peru specifically, I need a negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test issued at most 72 hours before departure from the first embarkation point. So in other words, when I'm getting on the plane in Salt Lake City.
Anyone under 12 does not need that.
And it's probably similar for wherever you may want to go in the world. And I need something similar when I'm coming back in the United States. After spending a week in Peru, I need to take another COVID-19 test and show that I've had a negative result within 72 hours before boarding the plane with a PCR test. If you get an antigen test, the other kind of test, I think you only have a 24-hour window for most places, is my understanding. If you're learning anything from this, go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button down there. That really helps out the channel, and I'd really appreciate it.
The other thing that is required for Peru specifically, and other countries will probably have similar things, is this document here, an affidavit of health and geolocation authorization, which looks like this when you first click on it. You punch in your passport number here, your date of birth, hit search, takes you to this page, and you put some information here and you tell them basically that you are not sick, and that's got to be within 72 hours before your flight.
One thing you for sure want to do a month or two before getting on the plane is look at the requirements for the country you are entering in terms of other vaccines you may need.
If you go to travel.state.gov for the country you're traveling to, which in this case is Peru, I can get some quick facts about Peru, and here is where I learned what vaccines I need if I'm traveling to Peru.
And I found out that if you're going to Peru, you need the yellow fever vaccine, and they also suggest that you get the hepatitis A, the, I think, typhoid fever, and a rabies vaccine. Some of these vaccines don't take effect until several days. In fact, the yellow fever vaccine takes, I believe, 10 days to be fully effective, and I'll be in Peru in like 11. So just in the nick of time. So make sure you do your homework in advance. I did hit at my doctor's office to see if they could help me out with immunizations for leaving the country, and they referred me to the Josephine County Public Health Department. I hit them up and they were actually super helpful. They scheduled an appointment for me like same day because they knew I was leaving the country, and I was pushing it to the last minute. Ow! Is that alcohol?
You got the yellow fever vaccine, and it's good for the rest of your life.
Am I gonna live, doctor?
I hope so.
You got a typhoid shot, which will protect you for 2 years.
Can I get a Band-Aid with a princess on it?
You're gonna get a hepatitis A shot, which once you have both of them, you should be protected for life.
It's pretty benign, but I got you the pink Band-Aid you wanted.
How do I avoid getting Hep A?
Fecal oral route. You just have to make sure that you are eating food that's prepared safely.
Fecal oral, don't eat poop, I think is what she's saying. Oh, I get to put a thumbtack where I'm going? I gotta guess I'm somewhere around here. Don't know where I'm going. Who's something? Going somewhere. Josh planned it, I don't know anything. They spent over an hour with me explaining stuff, giving me travel information about things to avoid, and the biggest things are, don't drink the water, and mosquitoes are the deadliest insect on the planet. So you want to wear mosquito repellent, actually clothes you can buy that have repellent built into them. They gave me the name of it. I'll put the link like right down below so you can buy some of that stuff if you want, if you're traveling. And Leela asked, how much was all of this? It was $50 for my consult with a nurse there, Misty. She was great. The yellow fever shot alone was over $200. And then I got a prescription for malaria, which if you're going somewhere where they've got lots of mosquitoes, you probably want to get that. You take it starting before you go and every day while you're there and 7 days after. And then I also got a shot for typhoid fever, and I don't know how much that one was. They bill the insurance for the vaccines, and we'll see how much my insurance company pays for. If you're American and you're traveling to a foreign country, you also want to go to the U.S. Embassy page for that country and see what alerts there may be and notifications that are relevant to you.
Here's the U.S. Embassy page for Peru. If you scroll over U.S. Citizen Services and click on See All Alerts and Messages, you will see this page, and this is kind of a big deal. So there are different travel level advisories, and the first one is exercise normal precaution 1, 2, exercise increased caution 3, reconsider travel. And right now, look where I am, going to Peru in a week and a half, and it's level 3. I should reconsider travel due to COVID-19, crime, and terrorism. So, some people might want to consider not traveling during this time, but we're still planning on going, and we will exercise extreme caution. At least it's not a do not travel, because that would really blow, because we plan this thing way in advance.
If you plan on using your phone while traveling, you better head up your cell phone carrier in advance and pay the extra bucks up front, because if you try to pay it on the back end and use your phone while traveling internationally, you might get a bill that will require you to mortgage your house to pay it off. One thing that's really going to help you when departing the United States while traveling either domestically or internationally is getting a known traveler number through TSA PreCheck. It takes you through that quick line, which is super great. But again, you got to do that in advance, and you want to go to tsa.gov to get that started. Start that now.
A common question people have is, can I use TSA PreCheck when flying from a U.S. airport to a foreign country, i.e. going from Salt Lake City to Peru? Yes, I can use it going from Salt Lake City to Peru. However, I cannot use it when returning from Peru to Salt Lake City. I need global entry for that. So you click here and learn about global entry. I don't have that yet, but that is something I'm working on getting.
If you want to see how we finally started living our life untethered, go ahead and click on that video right up there. YouTube thinks you want to watch that one. I will be going to Peru in about a week, and I'm going to make an awesome travel vlog about that. So hit that subscribe button right down there so you can check out that Peru video, which is coming shortly. We can't wait to share our adventures with you.